Hello all, it's your favorite 2 content producer here, back again at my comfortable Diablo zone. And I figured as I work on bigger projects, why not put out a little Diablo 2 content, because Blizzard sure as shit ain't. Seriously, Blizzard, I want to stream the ladder. Please release anything. Sincerely, blow me. Anyhow, instead of getting annoyed with the slow release schedule at Blizzard, let's just chill out and bring it back to basics. Reading wikis and moving JPEGs around. It's a good system we have here. D2 has had a checkered history with updates. Sometimes they recognized that there were game-breaking bugs that ruined the experience, and other times they felt like Boazon didn't deserve to exist. And with patch 2.4, the game will be seeing a large overhaul of bad builds, maybe, and it will greatly shake up the metagame, probably not. In any event, that's exciting enough for me to go back in time in order to see how we've gotten here. So, here in bite-sized format, not narrated by a text-to-speech program that is interested in producing a 30-minute video with 40 ad breaks, I bring you the entire history of Diablo 2 patches. I think so, anyway. I did play through a lot of these, but it was a long time ago, back when I thought Saigon's gear was the best shit in the game, so if I do miss something, I want you to do 2 things. Firstly, absolutely embarrass me in the comments and call me names. Secondly, against your judgment, scroll back up and watch the 40 ad breaks I have in this video. Man's gotta eat. Anyhow, back to the very beginning, patch 1.01. I suppose there was the initial patch 1.0, so before you cleverly tell me that I missed it, I'm mentioning it now. It's the base version of Diablo 2, very good, very fun, but we're interested, well, I'm interested, I'm not actually sure what you're interested in, but I want to see the changes that happened. There is going to be a lot to unpack, so much in fact that I am cherry-picking things out of the juicier parts of every patch. This is definitely where I'm going to miss something crucial, so if I do, you are already given instructions on what to do. In patch 1.01, the game was just getting a little more refined, a few bug fixes that were a variable concern. Real small stuff like the game crashing sometimes if the sorceress used the meteor spell, or not getting credit for killing a quest boss if you died before killing it. In general, there were a lot of little random things that crashed the game, and they were, usually pretty uncommon things, such as killing Lord Seis, a mandatory enemy to beat the game. In fact, let this kick off what I dubbed the Lord Seis backspace section, because spoilers, this guy is coming back. In terms of major changes, they removed an unused gossip from Ormus, which just can't stand. I mean, what the fuck did he say, Blizzard? I just need to know what my boy Ormus had to say that day. Also, apparently enemies could just enter the town of Luke Galane, which I think they should have kept. Following 1.01's pretty thick performance comes a thinner set of changes, so few interesting ones in fact, that we'll be out of these woods pretty fast. The game apparently loved to either crash or delete your characters whenever it felt like it. Here they fixed a bug that would delete your single player or open character if you deleted an online character with the same name. Sucks for you people with screen names that aren't flagged as inappropriate by Blizzard. Additionally, a few quality of life improvements like auto-closing some NPC dialogues when necessary and making it possible to reactivate the Canyon of the Magi portal after killing the summoner, which actually sounds like a bug fix, but you say what you will, Diablo 2 wiki. Alright, we finally get a patch with balance changes, but before them, let's talk about bugs. We'll start with this one, where the game would no longer crash if you were using a 64 megabyte video card. If memory serves, 64 megabytes was a seemingly high number in 2001 for most people, so as a reward for paying through the nose for better hardware, you're hit with D2 not working. Fun times! I would like to go back to the Wild West of computer parts before they were mythical and didn't exist and were just buggy and bullshit. Here's some interesting bugs that I wish I could investigate further, where the Paladin or Necromancer could wear a full Infernal Tools or Milabrega sets and boost skills to very high levels. Doing what? I don't know. What levels are we talking about? I'm not sure. Why I make videos acting like an authority on information I can't get? I have no idea. And once again, back at Lord Seis backspace, the dude isn't happy just being a grand pain in the brain, or ass, whatever you'd rather me say, choose your own narration, but he also still had a host of bugs. They fixed 3 rare, underscore the rare here, in fact double underscore it, lockup bugs. Firstly, killing him as any character. It seems uncommon to me. Secondly, leaping away from him as a barbarian. What, does he feel left out or some shit? Why does this problem only apply to him? Finally, being killed by him while drinking a potion. Also, items under the Misc tab used to sell out. Hope you like 2 potions, dumbass. Good luck fighting the devil. And then finally, a few funny changes. War gauntlets are now spelled correctly. Thank God for that. And then corpse explosion no longer scales based on the number of players in the game. I would love to know how fucked up that damage went. It's already like a top 5 ability. Imagine it dealing 8 times more. Plus, this patch actually nerfed it as well, reducing its radius gain per level from 1 to 1/2. And it's still God tier. Whirlwind gets hit, which pisses me off, but it's not the last time they'll do anything to it. Amazon got to have critical strike and pierce work more universally, so that's nice. Minor patches of 1.03b and c are very short and offered support like for Mac players, so approximately 5 people. Onwards to 1.04. The train of weird bugs continue with Lance, Holy Water Sprinklers, Grim Helms, War Clubs, and Stilettos now being droppable by monsters and chests. Also a quote dead but alive bug has been fixed. Could I even have just one more word in this sentence please? I would love to know what this was. Okay, here's a real thinker that I learned about making this video. Bone farming. Apparently you could just go out and to say the Blood Moor, cast tons of bone walls, just absolutely filled the screen, come back to town and wait until the walls collapsed, come back to where the walls were, and now suddenly there's a bunch of loot and shit all over the place. I'm guessing that the walls counted as enemies, so you could just go out and farm stuff. The fact that this took 4 patches to get rid of is insane. Inventory sounds for a host of items were different compared to their unexceptional variety. I'm sure. Remove the chat cheats Scroll Hack 1 and Scroll Hack 2. 1 second. Oh, it blanked the screen out, I see. Also, until this point, you couldn't have 8 people in a game. I thought it was always 8, but you know, I guess it wasn't. There's some more premium Seer knowledge for you. Oh, look at the time. It's time for more Lord to Seis backspace. On this week's show, he loses his thief ability, which let him, I think just him actually, steal potions from your belt, which is actually koala brain design. Finally, last one here, Kane can no longer give out extra Mephisto's soul stones. Kane, is there some shit you aren't telling the class, or are you just farming pole runes or something? Both minor patches to 1.04 are bland, and thus we are moving on to 1.05. Kicking off, barbarians who wish to wield 2 throwing potions are no longer prevented from entering games. Thank God for all the protests surrounding this great injustice. Also, small one here, you know. It requires no elaboration, of course, at all, but fixed all spell ranges. Took you long enough, Blizzard. Why didn't you fix all spell ranges yet? Really, this is just another pretty lackluster patch. The balance changes range from hand job to odd job, with Paladin's Blessed Hammer gaining enhanced damage from concentration, one of the most important synergies in the game, and then Amazon's Strafe and Guided Arrow enhancing base bow damage rather than total bow damage. Thus begins the long list of we won't stop touching bows on, get over it. Patch 1.05b has nothing interesting, so we're moving on to patch 1.06. Patch 1.06 has nothing interesting, so we're moving on to patch 1.07. No, really, it's nothing in this. We got like 8 books worth of stuff to talk about, so I'm just gonna be picking what I feel is important to mention. Barbarian. Fix bug with Barbarian Masteries, whatever the fuck that means. In expansion games, Whirlwind is now properly modified by weapon speed. Increase the damage of Warcry. Singer Bilb is still a barb. Sorceress increased the damage of Hydra, didn't do shit. The damage inflicted by most skills over level 8 has been increased. Lightning Mastery now affects lightning damage rather than decreasing mana cost, making it useful. Added a casting timer to Firewall, Meteor, Blizzard, Frozen Orb, and Hydra, and buffed their damage to compensate for this. Amazon Strafe is better, for now, with a few minor supplemental changes. Necromancer had like poison buffs. Absolutely Chad. And then Paladin got like 900 changes, starting with Zeal is now limited to 5 swings, so it's shit. And by shit, I mean it's still one of the best abilities in the game. Increased damage of Fist of the Heavens, so you know, that'll surely do it. I'm sure we will not be buffing this 20 years from now. Increased smite damage. Hey, where'd this boss's ass go? And then the changes go on and on and on. Like, what happened to Paladin? Was it just hated or something? Almost the entire class got overhauled. This is honestly such a fat chunk of a patch. You can no longer leech inanimate objects. Gambling is now based on character level, but sets and uniques are no longer gambleable for some reason. Bosses deal 30% less damage to hirelings and minions. Holy shit, the Skelemancer is killing everyone. Someone saved the day. Types were added, including the animal type, which is weird. I don't know why they got rid of it, but things have been buffed in Nightmare and Hell. Only now does the stock of vendors change based on the difficulty. The shift right-clicking to instantly fill potions and stuff is added. The repair all button has been added. Unbelievable that didn't exist. Only now can you assign up to 8 hotkeys. Certain broken-ass rare items have changed names, but the item properties have not, making them extremely rare and valuable. Oh my god, okay, it's too much. A lot of what you know about level requirements, gold costs, mercenaries, it's all changed in this patch. I literally need this video to not be 30 minutes, otherwise I'll look like a hypocritical Hank. Still keeping the 40 ads though. Patch 1.08. It is now June 29th, 2001, the release date for the expansion. Welcome to Lord of Destruction. This certainly won't change the game very much. Okay, for the buffs, let's just leave it at this is a patch 2.4-esque change. The game at this time was changed to be far similar to how it plays today. Things like static fields, scaling on enemies in difficulties, or Plague Javelin being really slow and bad. And then the list of ages. I won't be mentioning most of this stuff, like increased blocking for Grim Shield. Thanks for the tidbit. If it's the same to you, I'm going to move on to more interesting changes, like changed Iswal to be able to drop treasure, which is funny because I'm fairly positive no one in the history of the game has gotten anything good from Iswal. He always drops like a blue tigulated mail and arrows. Stupid fuck. Also, we can no longer buy throwing potions from stores. It's a sad day. Drop chances increase on runes and unique items, up from never. Weird stuff here too, like keys now stacked to 12. Cool! Right click now functions for skills. Weird that didn't work before, but hey, it was back when we used ball mice. No one knew what computers were good for yet. And finally, this patch made the Act 2 mercenary the meta by giving them auras. Game's getting worse. Patch 1.09, rapid fire patch release again in August of 2001. It keeps getting more mundane. I'll sift through this heap and produce some interesting changes. You can now gamble uniques and sets again. Crush beasts chests now give more than 1 XP. Okay. Iron golems are now saved with the player, so feel free to take that grief out of the stash and trash it. The slash players command now exists, which is already ahead of the Nintendo Switch players, and this happened 20 years ago. Plus, with this update, telekinesis no longer works on everything, which I don't remember either, but apparently you could pick up heavy-ass tables and shit with your mind. Look at the time, it's taking too long a clock. Onwards to 1.10. Only 2 years later, we received the first content update with Uber Diablo. Exciting times. Along with the big man, we now have skill synergies. Wait, what the fuck? To this point, skills didn't synergize? Maybe I didn't play this game because I didn't remember that at all. Also, ominously, this patch increased difficulty for high-level players to reduce further exploitation of the game. I don't know what that means or what it did. Maybe someone came to your house and broke your thumbs if you're kicking too much ass. Enemies were made much harder across the board. And finally, 100 new uniques were added, 29 of which were restricted to ladder. That is a fat update. And then across the board changes for every class, just kind of doing whatever they felt like. Enigma, as well as 19 other rune words have been added, which ruins the game's balance. What else? Throwing an oil potion no longer crashes an opponent. Good thing no one uses oil potions. Oh yeah, I'm having trouble determining when this happened, but around this time, maybe the previous patch or maybe the next one, but Amazon Strafe and Multi-Shot deal 3/4 of the damage it originally did. And in general, this is where Javazon became the standard. Unless you have an insanely expensive setup, you're falling behind with bows, which is a real shame. Oh, sorry, I fell asleep with the slow pace. Let's keep going. Patch 1.11, released 2 years later in 2005, sees the Pandemonium event added. So finally, we have a reason to subject ourselves to Neolithok's fist in our ass. 10 rune words were added, most of which are completely ignored by players. There is no reason to run down bug fixes this patch, and nothing else really happened. No Lord Seis backspace anymore, he's been balanced it seems. It's actually sad, but from this point forward, the game is practically as it will be. Patch 1.12, released 3 years later in 2008, has nothing interesting to talk about. Game no longer requires the CD drive to play, so that's a real help. Patch 113, released in 2010, teased a new challenge that would be coming. No new challenge would be coming. Respecs are added after a decade, so that's cool. Runes and Uber items are now color-coded as orange. Playing with normal color runes was actually hell on earth annoying. And as the only nerf I want to bring up, Hammerdin can no longer ignore, literally not care about the resistance of undead and demon enemies. Up to this point, it was effectively good against everything in the game. And here we are at the final Diablo 2 patch. Patch 1.14, after 6 years in 2016, what was added? Well, we don't have to run the game in XP mode anymore. Also, they're working on spam bots. They didn't get around to that, it seems. They even remade the entire fucking game and didn't fix that. Anyway, when 2.4 comes out in probably 40 to 50 years, I'll be there, haggard and ancient, ready to grind out my 99 solo found hardcore barbarian. Don't you guys have better things to do?